From the home of the Widener Pride, this is WidenerPride.com as we continue our series of preseason interviews for the 2011-2012 winter season. I am joined by men's basketball coach Chris Carridio. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Derek, thanks for having me.
Coach, team finished third last year. You had a 4-game run at the end of the year. You had the 19-point win against Alvernia, the eventual league champs. The 2 heart stoppers against Elizabethtown, Arcadia, both 3-point wins, and then the double overtime game here against Lycoming, a game we had to win to get in the conference tournament. How can you translate that 4-game run at the end of the regular season into this year?
Well, we try to encourage our guys during the season that last year's run was not a fluke, and a lot of the same pieces are still here for that. We made some adjustments last year that we needed to make during that particular time for us defensively that helped us. We're not doing a whole lot of the same things defensively now, so we're just hoping that the confidence knowing that we beat Alvernia, who won the league. We competed against some really good teams, and they showed a lot of character by winning those last 4 games. The way they won them, they weren't easy, and certainly the Lycoming game was certainly an adventure with a very talented Lycoming team winning in double overtime. So it's definitely something to build on, because if it went the other way, it would be a whole lot harder to sell to them as, hey, let's try to pick up where we left off. But we realize this is a new team, and we have to just start kind of over again, and we're looking at this team as a completely different team from last year, but has good pieces. So hopefully some of those guys will remember that run, but at the end of the day, we have to move forward with this team.
One of those players that helped us down that stretch, Jack Brennan, your starting center, senior, now a second-team all-conference player from last year. What does he mean to the team?
Jack means a lot to our team, and he knows it, and I tell him every day. It's very hard to find a guy of his size that has his skill set. He's a second-team all-league player last year, well-deserved. This year, we expect him to do the same, if not more. Hopefully, he helps us in the paint defensively, offensively, kind of anchors our defense both in the full court and in the half court, so that he allows us to do some things on the perimeter, maybe let some guys gamble a little bit so he can clean up the rebounds and maybe block some shots. But he's certainly a big part of what we're going to do, but not the only piece, certainly.
2 of your forwards, Perry Wright and Bob McCord, really came on at the end of last year and spurred the team towards the conference tournaments. Talk about them, what they mean to the program.
Well, Perry's had a very good first 2 or 3 weeks of practice. He's really developed his overall game. He's making guys on the floor better. He's certainly scoring the ball. Bob has certainly had a role for us last year at the end of the year. He really gave us some defensive presence and driving the ball for us and scoring. He's doing the same right now, and hopefully he can continue to get better. Obviously, there's other pieces. B.J. Smith being a senior for us, we know the kind of shots that B.J. can make to win games, and he's gotten a lot better. He's making his teammates better. So, there's a lot of pieces. I could go on and on that I think will certainly help us.
One of those other pieces, Andrew Rademacher, your starting point guard, a Delco kid from out of Pencrest. Great year, his freshman campaign, starting every game. Just talk about him. What do you mean?
Andrew worked very hard in the offseason to get bigger, stronger, and continue to improve his skill set, which he's certainly done. He's going through a little bit of a nagging injury right now, which kind of kept him off the practice floor. Hopefully we can get him back in the next week or 2. I don't know how much time he'll miss if he misses any real games, but it could be possible. But we want to get him back on the court as soon as possible. He certainly helps us go, and he plays extremely hard and becomes contagious for our guys. So we're excited, for him too. We think that as a sophomore, obviously the freshman year is behind you. So we're looking forward to big things from him, not just this year, but moving forward.
The squad every year plays a tough schedule. This year, no exception. Richard Stockton, DeSales, Cabrini, plus you got your California trip this year playing Occidental and Widener. How much does that benefit the program?
I just think from a program standpoint, it helps us, the coaches. It just gives us more exposure when it comes to recruiting. It certainly helps us. If we are having a successful season, you play against the good teams and you find a way to win those games, it's going to put you in a great position at the end of the year, if you do fortunate enough to make the NCAA tournament, to possibly host or at least get a situation where you're close to home. But just as a player standpoint, I can remember when I played here, you want to play against the best teams. It's although there's not really a whole lot of teams you can schedule in this region anymore that you could say are an easy wins.
Right.
Those programs have a lot of respect for the coaches. I have a lot of respect for their players. They've all been in the NCAA tournament, if not last year, within the last 2 or 3 years. We haven't been back now in 2 years. So playing Cabrini and Stockton before December 1st, 2 teams that made the NCAA tournament last year. Cabrini was in the Sweet 16. Stockton had a great year again last year. And then our first 2 league games are Alvernia and Albright. So, before December 5th, we're going to find out really where we are real quickly.
And finally, your overall expectations. You have a nice mix of old and young players.
Right.
What are you looking at when March 2012 rolls around?
Well, like you said, we have 5 new faces. Our roster size is 16 this year, which is a little less than it's been, but it's been a lot better for us in practice because we've been a lot of guys more reps. I'm excited. The kids have played really hard. The last few practices have been very competitive. We have a scrimmage tomorrow night at home that's, I think, really going to kind of help us see from a coaching staff where we are. And then, then we start Tuesday. So I'm real excited. The kids are optimistic. They're excited. From a coach's standpoint, though, we're cautiously optimistic. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to take it one day at a time, and we're hoping for a very successful season.
Well, as Chris mentioned, the season starts on November 15th when Widener hosts Swarthmore. We thank men's basketball coach Chris Carrillo for joining us.
Thanks.
We thank you for your support of Widener University Athletics.